Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. Guess what? Prepare yourself for excitement because that's right. We have a fit. Can you believe it? A 15x event. A 15x summon progressive chance. It's coming this weekend. Wow. Oh my god. We have not had enough of those recently. But yeah, it's for the Summon Rush, which is part of the Titan event. Look, we'll break down the champions. We'll talk about whether or not, whether they're good, how they're doing at the moment in the meta, which ones I'd recommend if you are going for it. We'll see how many Titan event points are tied up with this. If you are trying to max out all 5 milestones here, you can skip 250 points. There's obviously a Deck of Fate coming up on, I think it starts on Sunday. And that's probably, I would guess, going to be champ training soul stones is my guess, but it is just a guess. And of course, we're expecting another summon event next weekend as well. So you're probably going to want to skip some of those. And honestly, as I've said before, I really do think that this is just generally very skippable. Like, yeah, there's decent rewards, but I think grabbing the 3-star is nice. But I really don't feel like the 4 or 5-star for this guy are essential. I'm sort of thinking I might go for it for myself just because I've got so many resources, but I definitely want to be skipping some of the summon events. I think the big priority is, look, it's been a while since the Alice's Adventure event. In fact, we're going to see one of the Alice champions in here with the Cheshire Cat. Kind of need to prepare for the next one. That would be my bigger goal. Is saying like, yeah, I mean, whatever, 5-star soul for the dude, whatever. But Alice's Adventure 2.0, whatever that happens to be, that could be big, right? It could be an event dungeon back. There could be really strong new relics that we might want to grab. That has to be a higher priority. And also worth mentioning, whenever they do these big events, guess what? The fusion champions, like Thor, Mad Hatter, etc., they tend to be pretty good, right? The big events they run. They've been doing a decent job at them overall. So not an amazing job, but a pretty darn decent job. Right, let's take a look. So this is the 15x coming this weekend. Wallmaster Atharion, Cheshire Cat, Hefrak, Calvalax, and Sun Wukong from your regular shards. For me, let's go straight to the winner. I would say for me, the winner is the Cheshire Cat, actually by a decent chunk. I think he is the most modern of these, and he sort of fills in as sort of the 2025 modernized damage dealer with a cheat death mechanic. So yeah, sort of simple and straightforward. He is a beast for Hydra. He's a beast for Arena, and probably anywhere where you want AoE damage. His A1 is particularly strong. This absolutely slams out the damage. Now, one thing to note about him, because he scales off of attack and speed, and obviously he wants 100% crit rate and as much crit damage as possible, he is stat intensive. Or scalable. It's what I describe it more as a scalable champion, kind of like a Rotus or a Razzlevarg, that sort of champion. The more stats you give him, the better he does. So you got a good relic for him. If you get a big soul for him, if he ever gets empowered, etc., and any future power creep stuff in the game, this guy will benefit really, really well. Yeah, he's sort of like the 2025 Razzlevarg. Or kind of a bit like, reminds you a little bit of Hefrak as well. Sort of more modern version of those. So yeah, massive AoE damage. He can self-buff as well. He has a cheat death. You would definitely be using him in Arena a good bit. His only real downside generally is, obviously, you've got other top-tier champions too. Spirit Affinity is a little bit more niche. But he's fantastic, really strong, and he's very, very strong for Hydra as well. He's going to be one of the top damage dealers for Hydra. Sort of his weakness is he doesn't bring any utility along with him, whereas let's say Toshiro and Ninja bring decreased defense. Taras brings buff extension for the team. He doesn't bring anything really, but yeah, so that's him. Hefrak to mention, not too keen on Hefrak. Bit of a niche counter to Hegemon, right? If Hegemon kills one of your team, he will nuke them right back. He's fine. He's a good damage dealer. He's certainly not bad. He's good. And he can be very useful for some niche stages in Faction Wars and some niche arena fights, etc. Curse City, he can be great as well. So he's good, but not a champion. Honestly, he's not a champion I would recommend chasing in a 15x progressive chance event in 2025. Calvalax, same sort of thing. This champ is pretty darn cool. Put out a bunch of poisons at the start of the fight. He does some okay damage. He has an enemy max HP hit, but it's just not very good. Um, he's mostly really in there for all these poisons at the start, and there are some cool synergies. Him with a Teox can kind of work pretty well. He could work pretty well with Theodore in the team. He could work pretty well with maybe a sort of Vizig team. You know, there's potential for what you could do with him, but poison's not super meta in the game. Again, he'd be a small recommendation, not a bad champion, not a bad champ at all, but probably wouldn't be going for him in 2025 unless, unless it turns out he's amazingly good for faction wars. There's a pretty decent chance, I would say, because remember, each stage to get 3 stars is going to require a specific thing. We don't know what it is. Pretty likely we're going to see poisons being a thing for Knights Revenant, and probably like fears. There's quite a few poison, like Narma's poison, Doomlord is poison, Theodore, Calvalax. Quite a lot of poison in there, and good poison champs. I guess they don't have any, really. No, I don't think Crypt Witch does. I don't think they have any poison champs in the epics. Or Ashma is. There we are. Right? Am I wrong? Kinda. Like a shit poison champ. Like a really bad one. But yeah, I think that's pretty possible. Fears and poisons are the most likely thing for that faction. Yeah. Anyway, there we go. Sun Wukong, really, really good. Great champ, but you probably have him from a promo code already. But he's super, super viable. And, yeah, I mean, honestly, I should probably put him up a bit more. He's great. I think that he is more of an arena specialist, whereas you're going to get a bit more general usefulness, I think, out of Cheshire Cats, because he's just slamming in such consistent AoE damage. But they're both very, very reasonable. And then Wallmaster Atharion, he's also really good. I put him up like this. I kind of meant to come back and cover him for Chimera in the good rotations, and I forgot. Right, I kind of just forget about Chimera, I'll be honest. Chimera, I feel, really struggles from you just pick the best champs, and that's it. Whereas with Hydra, because you had 3 different teams and you can't repeat the same champion, with Hydra, there was, I felt, so much variety in terms of the teams you're bringing in, and getting one new champion could switch up all 3 of your teams. Could be like, oh, new damage dealer goes into team 1, which means, then I can switch all my damage dealers around, and then I need to switch around the supports to go with it. Very complicated, but I liked it. With Chimera, there's almost none of that. It's like, I'm just using the same team since day 1, baby. Let's go. Pretty much. Wallmaster is very good. AoE block buffs decrease attack. Gets turn meter as well, and it's enemy max HP damage. It's a great move. He self-buffs on his A3. He's actually genuinely really good. His passive is a bit limited. He gets more max HP when he kills enemies or decapitates Hydra head. I guess because he can trigger off killing enemies, it makes it quite general, but it obviously won't work against Chimera or Demon Lord, like enemies that you don't kill. But it's pretty good too. Makes him tankier. And then his A1 give him turn meter too. So yeah, he just sort of rips through his moves. He self-buffs with an extra turn. He's got an amazing A2. He's really solid. Wallmaster is just a great champion. We come to the Void Legendaries. And I'll be honest, the one that stands out to me is actually Onryo. It's a bit hard to quantify this. Him versus the cat. Onryo is like your typical sort of attack damage dealer, I suppose. Single target damage. He's got a massive ignore stone skin move that also ignores defense, shields, and strengthen. So massive nuke there. His A2 can block revive. And then his A1 gets an extra turn if he kills an enemy, which is really strong. And he gets 2 hits if they're under a buff and from the undead hordes. So like if you're trying to do like a fast team, because I run, as you guys know, right, I run like a fast CF with Lockout very, very often in Arena. This guy's like, you're running fast CF with Lockout? Great, I'll just like quad hit your Rotis and I'll quad hit your CF, get a bunch of extra turns, and then just one-shot block revive whoever's left, I'll just delete everyone with my A1 potentially. It's a very, very, very strong A1 against undead specifically. He also does splash damage, which is kind of cool. He's a big damage dealer for Arena. He's actually quite a good damage dealer for Hydra. Just a really strong single target damage with a bit of AoE splash in there. He is very squishy though. I don't think he's OP. How did I rank him? Maybe I ranked him a bit high. That's actually, can I erase? I don't know if there's an erase function. Is this an erase? That's a ruler. Oh God. Oh, gotta go away, ruler. What about this? Yeah, okay, that works. That works. I don't know. I'd say I put him as, yeah, I guess sort of similar to Sun Wukong. maybe I put all of these somewhat similar. I put Cheshire Cat further ahead, I guess. Maybe not that far ahead. Yeah, that far ahead. Onryo, he's cool, but he is squishy. He's a bit difficult to use. And one concern I would have is that, yes, he does combo very well with Mikage, but you also have Ninja in that faction. You have Toshiro, if you get him. There's Harima. There's Tetsuya. There are a lot of damage dealers in this faction, and yes, he's very, very good, but it might be a little bit awkward to, like, you can only use so many. You know what I mean? Like, at a certain point, you've got too many damage dealers for Shadowkin. That's a bit of a downside for him. But he is cool, and he's super fun. I know some people love him for Arena. I think he's pretty darn good there. Combos very well with any sort of speed team, etc. So yeah, I think he's probably the best of the Voids. Acrizia is good as well. I'm not a huge fan of Leorius. He's okay, right? Leorius is okay. The block damage, or sorry, not block damage, the unkillable is nice. But he's an older champion. He was really strong when he first came out. But he is a bit of an older champion. But yeah, I mean, again, some of the mythicals and stuff like that, where, you know, like the Siegfrieds, the Cheshire Cats, etc., where you're just getting absolutely slammed down and it's really tough to stop them. Arnorn as well, that sort of thing. You know, yeah, getting unkillable, surviving a turn is cool. And he is a protector from crowd control, which is cool as well. So he does have some potential, but at the same time, I feel like he's not the god that he used to be. He was like godlike when he first came out. Definitely not the case anymore. He's really good, but not too insane. Acrizia is still decent. And I think Acrizia has a ton of potential with Black Tusk, especially. The two of them together, very, very, very strong. That gives her a lot more relevance now for bosses. I mean, when Acrizia first came out, again, she was godlike. She was honestly totally overpowered when she came out. But we've had so many more enemy max HP champions since then, and you could certainly argue that Newt and Marius are both more useful than her in general. But she is still really good, and because she's got enemy max HP A1, especially with decreased defense on it, she goes super well with Black Tusk. Like, ooh, that's a beautiful little combo for building up a dwarf team for some bosses and stuff. So there is a lot of potential there. So I do still like the Acrizia. And yeah, she's also one of the easiest enemy max HP to build because she takes half damage from AoE attacks. So she's actually quite survivable. She's got the 100% turn meter steal, which is going to help you with stuff like Dark Fae and Spider and stuff like that, which is cool. So yeah, Acrizia, not the god that she once was, definitely fell off a lot against the competition. I think Black Tusk brings her back a little bit, you know, her in there with like Black Tusk and Senna, and it's like, ooh, wow, we're starting to get like a pretty crazy team here already, just with those three combined. So there's something to be said for that. This would be probably the order I would want the Voids. Onryo first, Acrizia second, Leorius definitely a very optional third. And from these champs, again, I'll be looking at Cheshire Cats. Sun Wukong and Wallmaster are both super good. Heffrak and Calvlax, they're not bad, but they are older champions with not a couple of niche uses. Actually, let's mark them up a bit, because look, you would build some niche teams that would use them, but they are far from essential champs to have. They're fun, they're cool, but yeah. For the epics, Geomancer is amazing. Well, I guess we'll just do a epic level ranking. Geomancer is amazing. I'd actually say Farrakhan is arguably as useful as Geomancer these days. With so much power creep in the game, Geomancer falls off, Farrakhan stays relevant a lot longer. And in Chimera, I've actually seen a lot of people. Here's the thing. A lot of people, I meant to do a video on him ages ago and I forgot. I think some other, let me see here. I'm sure we'll see a Farrakhan somewhere. Here's me talking at my arse, and we're not going to see him early on. I've definitely seen, oh, there's one. Here we go. So we've got a Farrakhan in here for Nightmare. Because it's giving access to trials. Let's see, maybe someone in my clan was running Farrakhan with higher points and whatnot. There we go, Roots. I mean, put this in context, guys. Roots has a +2 6-star Marius. He's got a 6-star Galathir, a +4 Lydia, a +3 Nekmothar. To say that Roots is a struggling free-to-play budget player and he needs to use the epic because he's got nothing better, it's not true. He is using Farrakhan because Farrakhan is exceptionally good. Why is he so good for Hydra? Well, if you think, or Chimera, excuse me. If you think about Lady Mikage, yeah, very similar, very similar. He brings the ally attack for trials. He brings the increased crit rate, crit damage for trials. He also brings you a backup decreased defense, which is kind of nice. But what he has that Mikage has the buff extension and debuff extension, which is really nice. And she combos very well with Shadowkin. So you lose that, but you can just run Marius, so it's fine. What Farrakhan brings instead is HP burn, which opens up a couple of trials, and poison, which again opens up some potential trials, particularly on the Viper, where like you can stack enough debuffs without block active skills to potentially do that trial and stuff like that. I don't know if he actually did that. Yeah, he did. Easy, normal, and hard. He did it just about, which is pretty cool. So yeah, Farrakhan opens up a lot of trials. He's pretty darn sweet. Don't sleep on Farrakhan. There we go. So yeah, I think they actually are probably equal for me. Geomancer, stronger early game, probably the best early game epic in the game. This beats nearly all the bosses early game for you. But then Farrakhan the Fat comes in, and he's still amazing early game, but he is more relevant later. Stays relevant for longer than Geomancer does. Again, he's just almost every boss. Ally attack, HP burn, poisons, a decreased defense is good. Allure, very solid as well. I'd say, she's definitely more of a normal difficulty champ, but obviously Allure is great. But the turn meter control is insane. Dark Fae, brilliant. Several Doom Tower bosses, brilliant. And normal Fire Knight, really. Not so much Spider, she can't hit it. But normal Fire Knight, she's amazing. Really gives you that dungeon for free almost. And it's the hardest, well, probably second hardest after Spider normal. Just depending on specific champs. Jamail is very good as well. I'd say sort of similar to Allure. Big single target damage. Maybe he's a bit more relevant because he gives you... Let me mark these guys up. Let me say he's a bit more relevant because he's so good for Hydra, right? Gives you that easy counter to Head of Torment, which is a problem. And then Weregren, I think, don't even bother. And that's my thoughts on that. So there we go. Cheshire Cat, number 1. Onryo, number 2. And then both of these guys, joint third. With perhaps, if you force me to pick one, for most players, honestly, I mean, it's Geomancer is still Geomancer, but Farrakhan remains relevant. And you've got, I guess we put in Shamail as the number 4 from your voids. It's an event that, honestly, you probably want to be skipping, but there are some good options in there. If you're close to Mercy, if you're early game, and you're bang on your Mercy, might be worthwhile looking to grab a couple of these. Like a Geomancer might change your account. Cheshire Cat would be super, etc. You get the gist. That's sort of where we're at. Let me know what you think about this. For me, personally, I think I'm almost definitely going to skip this one. They're good champs, but I'm not close to Mercy, and unless the points are very generous, I don't see myself doing it. I'm much more likely to be interested in the Deck of Fate. Good news, we should see the Deck of Fate before this Summon Rush ends. So on Sunday, let me double check that. I'm pretty sure by Sunday, we should see. Yeah? Deck of Fate starts on Sunday. Yeah, the Summon Rush will still be on. So you can wait and see. Oh, also there is this Prism Summon Pool thing on. All the faction unity. So, I mean, they're all, for the most part, really good champs. They're going to be absolutely god tier for Hard Mode Faction Wars, which is probably coming within the next month, I would guess. Now, the problem with this, 1 to 6 star, you have a 45% chance. Like, 45% chance for the soul to be effectively totally useless. 34% chance for 2 star. So we almost have an 80% chance that the soul is basically garbage. 12% that is 3 star. 4 star is okay, 4.25. I mean, that's nice for the damage dealing ones. 3% for 5 star, 1.75 for 6 star. I mean, considering that a single pull is like $5, it's to me, this feels like a lot. And I mean, again, it just feels like, number 1, it's a shit event. 1 to 6 star, please. And then, these summon pools for souls are just, they're the ultimate Kraken event. Because I mean, like, how many of these do you have? Come on. I've got 2, and I've spent it, not much money, but I've spent a little bit chasing them. I've got 2. No. Come on, bro. It's so dumb. Like, it's like, what? It's just for massive spenders. Let's be real. So There we go. It is what it is. Massive spender event. If you're a massive spender, obviously it's really good. If you have bought multiple faction unities, then that's really good. And you've clearly got plenty of money, so go for it. But for most people, no, 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 no. And there we go. That's everything. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.